Sports Tonight, Emily. How about this? Wait a minute. Where am I? I'm on the wrong. Am I this way now? They moved the camera on me. Let me move the microphone over here. Hey, they moved the camera.
Here, I'll move a little bit too.
Yeah, I'm
Fred.
just.
This is a special night for us.
Yeah, I'm a mindless on-air guy. So
we only have a few days left together, so
Yeah.
things are being switched up tonight just to like kind of drive you a little cray-cray.
Cray-cray.
So here we are.
All right, so let's start with our ANF Sports Tonight. My favorite time of year, college basketball. The Final Four weekend, to me, best weekend in all of sports. You got two games on Saturday, the championship game on Monday. It's always, to me, it's always good. And it's kind of a resort weekend, isn't it? You got all these resort schools in there. Right?
I'm like really, for me, I know you've said it several times that you really like Final Four and then the Natty, but like I'm not obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with the first and second round where you have games all day. The craziness is ongoing until like 1 a.m, and that's what I like most. But I do want to see who's crowned champion, right? Fred, let's talk a little bit about what happened over the weekend in the Elite Eight.
Yes.
Miami beat Texas. I had Texas
I know. I had
my
Texas winning it
championship
all.
game. Oh, well,
I know
both of us got screwed on that one, but I'm happy for Miami.
Jimmy
Really.
Larinaga.
Yes, really happy for Miami. And there's two South Florida teams still alive.
Right.
I mean, how hot
Florida
is
Atlantic,
Miami?
right? So you got the Owls, you got Miami,
The Canes.
you got
coming
San Diego
back.
State, you got great resorts all around. This is,
Were you
They sh-
surprised though to see Miami beat Texas? And if I remember correctly, they came from behind.
They
to beat
did.
them.
I was surprised that Miami won, only because I had Texas to win it all. So it was kind of my bracket buster, if you will. But I'm happy for a guy like Jim Larinaga. I mean, this is a guy took George Mason to the Final Four. I mean, he can coach. He's coached obviously in the ACC, coached in different places, and looking at him out there with those kids, it's like a grandpa.
G-Paw?
He's like a G-Paw. So I mean, that's kind of cool. And so I'm rooting for him. I'd like to see
G-Paw
him
with
win.
swag in South Florida.
Exactly, man.
Hey man, G-Paw, if you take the Canes to the national championship game and possibly
Oh.
win in Miami,
Woo.
you're going to be a king.
Jimmy Larinaga in
Oh
South
my-
Beach, baby.
Oh, there's
73
nothing you
and
won't
rolling.
get. That's right. That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to see, even though I'd rather see the Canes back on the national scene in football, I will take it in basketball all day, Fred.
Okay,
all
well,
day.
I mean, that's great then. So we'll see what your Canes do. We'll see San Diego State. I mean, you think about those guys, I mean, they
And they beat Creighton by a point.
I know,
A
and they-
point, 57-56, super low scoring game.
they've done a great job. I mean,
Super
Dutcher's
physical,
done a
in
great
my
job
opinion.
there. I mean, out of the Mountain West Conference, another great town, maybe the best weather in the world, San Diego.
But Fred, let's talk about how Miami and San Diego State.
I like the way you say Miami.
Miami, because I
Yes.
get so happy.
Miami.
They were both 5 seeds, both of them. So the 5 seed this year, it's a nice
That was a
little
lucky 5, baby.
It's a nice seed to be in, or whatever, however.
Yeah, a nice seed to be. If you're going to be in a seed, you want to be the 5th seed, right?
That's
the 5 seed. There you go.
That's right. And Kansas State, man, I really thought. I mean, I was bummed because I had Kansas State in my Final Four, and I just thought that. And Trae Young, too, because he picked Kansas State to win the whole thing.
Right.
I thought that for sure they were going to represent the Sunflower State. Yeah, the Sunflower State very well. But they didn't get it done against Florida Atlantic, which is the Cinderella story, Fred, of this year's
It is.
tournament.
There's no doubt. The Owls.
The 9 seed.
Kind of like Florida Gulf Coast was a couple of years ago, right?
Yep. And they have some shooters. Like, they really have some shooters on that
Well,
team.
see, I think this is proof
And
that
they
you're.
battled.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
No.
I think this is proof, though. You only need maybe 1 or 2 good guys. 2 superstars and then 3 really good players, and you can go, man. You can make a run. It doesn't matter the size of the school. They call these schools mid-majors, but, Lefty Driesell one time, because he took Georgia State to the tournament, and he said, I don't know, I ain't never been mid-nothing in my life. We got the same amount of scholarships as everybody else. Why are we a mid-major?
It's true. Greg Marshall, when he was at Wichita State, he
Right.
hated when anybody called WSU,
The Shockers.
Yeah, called them out of being in a mid-major and how it was easy for them. He was like, we're not doing that. This is
Right.
not a mid-major program. That's not how we act. I mean, they are a mid-major program.
but
it isn't how they act. How about that?
Yeah, we get the same amount of scholarships as everybody else.
Right, and they Fred, I mean, you got to watch it here in Atlanta. Wichita State really was on the scene there for a while.
They were, yeah.
But
Didn't they go on probation?
No,
They
but
didn't?
they just have not. I mean, they changed conferences.
Yeah, that'll
They
do
got
it
out of
too.
the NBC, and so the NBC winner this year I think was Drake. So when
It
you
was
get out of
Drake,
your
yeah.
conference and you want to go to a bigger or big boy conference, I mean, expect for these things
Yeah,
to happen.
your schedule gets tougher because
Yeah.
week in, week out, you're playing 2 really good games every week.
That's right. So
that
I
makes
think
it
that's what
tougher.
happened. But also, so we talked about FAU, we talked about Miami, we talked about San Diego State, and now the only one left is UConn, who would be winning if they got to the championship game and won, who would win their 4th, I believe,
Right.
title in
I
school
mean,
history.
I saw them beat Georgia Tech in the championship game way back when. That was in San Antonio. I want to say that was 2005. I'm not, just off the top of my head. I want to say that was 2005. Paul Hewitt took Georgia Tech to the Final Four, then the final game. And we jumped on a plane, got down there in time to see the championship game. Jim Calhoun's UConn Huskies took care of Georgia Tech that night. But it was a great night, great game. Like I said, I love the Final Four.
Okay, so let's just recap. A 9 seed, 2 5 seeds, and a 4 seed in the Final Four.
How about that?
Unreal. This year has been so unpredictable, and I love it. I
Yeah.
love the fact that we are all suffering with our brackets. Like,
You love the fact that we're all suffering with our brackets?
yes, because it happens to most people every year.
It does.
But this year was, I mean, Fred, this is like, think about it. Your national champion this year will
Right.
either be FAU, San Diego State, Miami, or UConn. That's unexpected to me.
What were the Hurricanes again? What are they?
Oh, stop.
Come on.
Miami.
Yeah, I want to hear that. I like hearing that.
I like going to that.
Yeah,
I
you like
mean,
going to Miami, don't you?
Yes, it's my favorite city for anybody who doesn't know. I mean, I love Atlanta, but listen, Miami is just nice and hot, and I like that.
Yeah.
But, so these games will be played, the Final Four on Saturday, and then the national title will be on Monday in Houston, which just kind of brings me to a story before we switch gears
Yeah,
here,
let's
Fred.
hear it.
Houston was supposed to be
Yeah,
playing
well,
in Houston.
Every team that hosts it,
Okay.
they always think, oh, well, you're going to make a run. I remember 91. Hey, man, Indiana, they're going to be there. They're going to be there. They're going to be there. They got knocked out early, just like Houston did this year. Luckily, I sold my tickets before Indiana got beat, and I did okay.
Well, that was in the Sweet 16, right? They lost in the
Yeah.
Sweet 16.
Yes.
So did Alabama, right?
Yes.
So both teams who appeared to be like the front runner, at least in my opinion, and probably in a lot of people's opinions, to win the title. Both
Right.
of them knocked off in the Sweet 16, and those games were boring. Like, they got knocked off convincingly. It wasn't just like, oh, tight game. No. It was by a bunch of points.
Yeah, right.
So, again, like, you go on a run and you keep running and you don't stop. And now
Wait a
whoever...
minute, what song is that?
I don't know
That's a
what's.
song.
I don't know, but we can sing it if you want. We can figure it out together. but Fred, like, seriously, one of these unexpected teams
know.
will be hoisting a trophy on Monday night, and it's kind of cool because if we learned anything this year, it's that truly, like, number one seeding doesn't matter. Go on a run. We
No.
already knew that. But like these programs, like, what used to be like maybe ACC or Big
Right,
12,
power conferences.
correct? That doesn't really matter anymore.
I mean,
It just doesn't.
like you say, you only get, you only need a couple of really good, top-notch players, and you can make a run. Like Bobby Cremens told me years ago when he recruited Stephon Marbury, I said, Bobby, you're only going to have him for 1 year. And he goes, well, wait till you see him play, and then you tell me if you'd rather have him for one or none. And Stephon Marbury led Georgia Tech to the Sweet 16, got the school exposure, made him a ton of money TV-wise. So, I mean, it's worth it sometimes to do those things.
And what you love about basketball is it's not like football in the sense that, of course, we all know I like football better. And if anybody's listening or watching us that doesn't know that, I'm telling you now, football's my jam. But basketball, like you mentioned earlier, Fred, and I just want to revisit it, you really only need one superstar to change everything.
Yeah.
You said 1 to 2. I mean, in my opinion, it's just such a small team. One guy can
It's
get
20%
in.
of your team. Yeah, he can make it go. Yeah.
In football, that's not the case. You need
No.
a bunch of stars or whatever the case may be to, like,
You
it's
got to
just
have.
it's a team sport,
yeah,
truly.
It is.
All right, let's move on now. The Braves, they reveal their City Connect jersey. Have you seen it?
I kind of like it.
It's hot.
It is kind of neat. I like it. They've got a lot of blue, which is good. A lot of bright blue.
It says it's a modern update to a classic. And it's nice. You're right. The blue pops for sure. The iconic 1974 Braves uniform
Right.
that
74.
Hank Aaron
Hank
wore.
Aaron wore when he hit 715.
Yes. So do you remember that, Fred?
I do remember that.
Tell me how that makes you feel.
I think it makes me feel great. I mean, I think it's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when Hank Aaron did it. It was great. We were all rooting for him. At
What-
least the people in my neighborhood were. We were all
Yeah.
rooting for Hank. Yeah.
I wasn't
great.
even born yet, and I was definitely rooting for
I
him
wasn't even
for
born.
sure. But listen, what I like most, and I think when people see this, if they haven't seen the jersey yet, it says the A
Right.
on the front of it.
It does.
And like I think Atlanta is the A, like
Right, yeah.
the U, like it deserves to have a the in front
Only
of
at
it.
the A, baby.
Yeah.
Right?
So I like how it says the in the red and the big A is in blue. I just find it to be so stunning. Just that one little piece
Very neat.
had me at hello. So I like it. Well, will you get it? Well, and listen, there's more like to it as far as Hank Aaron, right? There's a bunch of like little symbolic things throughout the jersey that are reminiscent or have symbols of him. So that way you know you're basically sporting a Hank Aaron honored jersey. Does that make
Exactly.
sense?
Well, Hank Aaron, yeah. Hank Aaron time, his era.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
I'm all the way into it. I don't really like to wear the like sporting things of the world, but this I could.
You'd wear that jersey to a game?
I think I could. I think I
Really?
could get into it. Yes, I do. I think like I would have to make it look a certain way.
Maybe wear like a big jersey with just a belt?
Fred knows my language. I wasn't gonna say it, but you know what I'm saying. Like maybe your like calling after this would be a fashion designer possibly.
Maybe, yeah.
For the ladies of the world.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I am like, I'm
Yeah.
into the jersey and I'm into how Fred is styling it. I definitely think I will
That's
be
it.
wearing one this season. But Fred, I've
Good.
got to admit, I have never been to a Braves game as a fan, not ever. It's hard. Do you not
It
agree
is.
with that? We do
It
this
is
every
hard.
day, so it's
No,
hard
yeah,
to
it's
go
hard
as a
to go
fan.
because, when you get a day off, where you want to go? Let's go to work.
Yeah.
Because that's where, I go because, I know people that like to go, so I go with them.
Big timer.
Yep, not big timer at all.
Got to shake hands.
Got to go with my.
speak to
Got
all
to go
the
with.
peeps.
Yeah, my son likes baseball. He
Oh,
loves
Dev.
baseball, so he will go and stay from the first pitch to the last.
Yeah, and does he like when you
Hey.
walk around and every single human stops you to talk to you?
He's used to it, and it does not happen, by the way, but he's used to
I have
it.
a 7-second rule with Fred. Anytime I'm out in public with him, I wait for him for 7 seconds when he stops with like to talk to people. Then I keep going because if not, we'll be there all day and I'll never make it to my destination. So I start counting in my head, and Fred knows it by now. So
Yep.
he knows that after 7 seconds, I'm out of there,
He's
and he'll just
gone,
have to
so I
come
gotta
find
go.
me.
That's right.
Oh, how I'm gonna miss
So,
these days,
See,
Fred.
you are going to miss him. So now, how about the Braves? They got some young guys that they put in their rotation, so that's kind of cool. So that's kind of neat.
I'm into anything they have to do to win.
Yeah.
Old, young, whatever. Let's make it happen. All
We've
right.
got some guys who aren't going to be able to start the season, so they're bringing some of the young guys up to give them a shot. And why not? Max Fried, once again, though, gets to start opening day. That's kind of neat. He's
Third
done
year
a-
in a row.
Yeah, he's done a great job. He's really come up through the ranks and really been great, I think, for the Braves. And another good left-hander is always good to have. And
I
Max
hate
Fried,
that he didn't get a long-term deal though this offseason. I really hate it for him.
Yeah.
Because he's watched everybody else or the
He has.
younger crew
the younger crew,
get
right?
some nice little extensions, right?
Yeah,
Michael Harris II. I think Strider.
Spencer Strider got
Yeah,
one. Yeah, he
Riley.
did.
I mean,
Yeah,
all
all
these
those
guys
guys, yeah.
got deals, and then
And
you
Max
know,
Fried did not.
and
which
he didn't win his arbitration hearing
I know. And
with
that's
the
not good
Braves.
either.
And you listen, the money wasn't like he wanted 15 mil, he got 13.5. Nobody's crying about that.
No.
But for me, I'm like, okay, has he not done enough? Like, what does Alex Anthopoulos, maybe Brian Sticker have up their sleeve? And I'm not saying they're being sneaky. What I'm saying is, like, if he's not the guy, then who's going to be the guy? You know, do they not really care so much about pitching as they do, like, position players? I mean, I don't know.
Well, no, I think
know
it's just
better.
the opposite. I think they do care about pitching. I mean, I think that's been the cornerstone
What they need to see
of
more?
the Braves' domination. I don't know what it is with Max. I don't know if it's his age. I don't know because he's not that old. I mean,
29.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know
But he did say that he would be willing, obviously, to negotiate, you know,
during the season.
if you know, if that came to fruition and the deal was right, that he would be willing to
Sure.
negotiate it. Because, like, Fred, you've been around a lot longer than me in the sense that, like, you've seen ballparks and you've seen, like, several clubs and you know how they work. And from what I hear from everybody, Braves, like, the organization's top notch.
They are top notch. There's no doubt. They are top notch, the best to deal with, the best. I mean, what they've done, what Mike Plant has done with that stadium, and the way they've kind of turned that into a revenue center is unbelievable. And because of the stadium, I think, and because of the TV deal, I think that's what's allowed them to sign all these guys to long-term deals and to pay these guys. And hopefully they'll do that with Max, and hopefully Max will get off to a good start and have a multi-year deal.
But Fred, let's be honest. When you say pay these guys, the guys could get paid more if they go somewhere else, but they decide to stay here.
Some of them could, maybe some of them couldn't.
Isn't that the knock? Is that like the Braves get like the hometown discount?
Yeah, well, sometimes, they do, and sometimes they don't, right? I mean, they got, what do you mean with, they got Matt Olson. They brought him in. They paid him pretty good, right?
Yes. I mean, they're not paying them like Yankee money.
Well, who does pay him like Yankee money? The Yankees, right?
That's right. All right. We ready for
What's
some
next?
Lamar Jackson chit-chat that we seem to do every other day around
Every
here?
other day, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson requested a trade from the Ravens.
Well, he actually did, though. He came out today and actually said that he requested a trade. I think, if I remember, like March 2nd, at the beginning of the month, he finally came out and said it today. He was like, I requested that trade. That was me.
Good.
Hi. Hey. So I think that he was trying to play nice with the Ravens, okay? I think he was trying to play nice and try to keep everything kosher, and now he's just fed up, and I don't blame the guy.
You don't blame him?
No, I don't blame the guy. I don't. I think he's probably thinking what everybody else is thinking is like, this dude can ball, and he's not getting a deal. And the Ravens, well, so there is word that there was an offer, and he did not take it.
Well,
but perhaps he believes he's
worth more.
Correct.
I don't know. I mean, his franchise money is going to be pretty big this year. So, I mean, I think.
But you're going to be dealing with at some point, Fred, and I don't know if this is going to happen because I don't know Lamar Jackson. I've never covered him. But, like, at what point does an employee, which employee X is Lamar Jackson, get disgruntled? Like, at what point do you get so frustrated and just so upset with, like, what's being put in front of you that you don't want to play or you just don't care to perform? I don't think that's going to happen. He's a competitor.
I think that if you're a competitor, I don't really care about that. You're under
you've
contract.
You've seen guys sit out.
Oh,
You've seen it.
I have seen guys sit out.
Do you think?
And and I'll tell you who has guys who used to sit guys out more than anybody. Do you remember Ray Anderson, the former president of the Falcons? He was an agent, and when he was a player agent, his guys sat out all the time. He's now the athletics director at Arizona State. But yeah, Ray's guys always held out. Always.
I mean, like, so it works out for some, but it just appears like if he were to sit out, and I'm not saying that that's what we know or heard, it's just I'm giving you a scenario here.
Right.
I think the Ravens would let him just because of how they've acted, right?
Maybe they would. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't. But
don't we want to win people?
Right.
And if you have athletes on your team who don't want to be there, move on from them. Listen, I know it's not that simple, Fred, and I'm not in those rooms and I don't have those discussions. But, like, nobody wants to work with somebody who doesn't want to be there. And you and I have talked about this before.
Right. Yeah, no doubt.
You don't want to be a part of something that other people don't want to be a part of or whatever
exactly.
the case may be.
I mean, he's the quarterback, too, so he's got to lead the team.
Let's figure this out, guys. He doesn't seem like a bad dude, and he seems like he wants to play ball. And, like, let's just get it figured out.
If
it's
there
not
it
with
is.
the
Emily,
Ravens,
call the Ravens.
If it's not with the Ravens, just trade him. Let's go. Let's get this season started.
And of course,
and
all
like,
the Atlanta
no
folks
drama.
want Lamar here.
Yeah,
right?
I don't blame them. Bring him in if you want.
Why not?
I mean, again, like you're telling me.
Let it rip. Let's go.
You're telling me Ritter's the future. I hear you. I hear you, Falcons. Prove me wrong. That's what I have to say. Prove me wrong.
You say Ritter's the future.
No, I'm not. What I'm saying is the Falcons say that Ritter's the future
and
by
you disagree with that.
By their actions. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I have not seen enough. I've not seen enough
either.
To be sold.
I haven't seen enough. I haven't seen enough from the Falcons in total.
Like in how many years?
To be sold on anything.
Right.
I mean, this is a team that took so long to have back-to-back winning seasons.
Yeah. And we're struggling right now.
Yeah.
Struggle bus.
I mean, it is the struggle bus. There were some good years there. Mike Smith, Dan Quinn, they had some good back-to-back years.
D. Queasy.
Yeah, D. Queasy. And then D. Queasy was
Queasy?
Yeah, no, D. Sheezy. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Oh,
what's our final topic here? What's on your mind, Emily?
Oh, well, I don't even know what's on my mind after that, Fred. I'm just D. Sheezy.
D. Sheezy.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think what's on my mind is basically what I said off the top of the show is I'm just really happy to see FAU and UM in the Final Four. It's bringing great exposure to the greatest city in this country, even though it doesn't need any. Miami is the place to be, and if you like college ball right now, those are the schools that are being successful and surprising us all. The 5 seed, the 9 seed. I'm into all of this. And Cinderella, keep on dancing, okay? Let's
so there
do
you
this.
go. You got Florida Atlantic, the Owls. They're in Boca, right?
Yep.
Where's Florida Gulf Coast? Is that on the other side? Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's
obviously.
like up.
Naples or something, isn't it?
No, further up.
Well,
that's
it's the Gulf Coast. It's got to be on the other side.
No, I feel like FGC. What is it? Florida
FGCU.
Golf. Yeah, I think that's up, like Jacksonville.
No, is it? No, look it up. I don't think so. I'm going to say Naples or something like that.
I'm your Florida.
Yeah, you are. So
Florida
you know better than
Gulf Coast. I don't believe that. I believe that it is like further up.
Why would it be on the Atlantic side if it's Florida
Fort
Gulf?
Myers.
There it is. Gulf Coast. See, that's the key, Emily. Gulf Coast. That's your geography key.
Thank you, teacher. I appreciate that. So, all I'm saying is what's on my mind today is that I'm very happy for the 2 South Florida schools that have made it to the final weekend of the best time of the year during the NCAA tournament. Do it to it. And you like the coach of Miami. He did it at
Jimmy Larinaga, 73 years old, man. He's going to be 74 this year.
I mean, he's just like showing all of us that anything's possible.
And he's dancing, dancing with the kids, having a good time, man.
I love it. I'd
Jimmy
be dancing
Larinaga.
too,
I mean, he took
at
George
any age.
Mason to the Final Four.
That's what I'm saying.
He's
He's
been around.
there.
He's coached a long time, man.
Act like you've been there, bro, and you are.
Hey, what do you
This
mean?
is
Jimmy's
awesome.
going to act like he's been there. Of course he is.
And now his players are believing it. You know what I'm saying? And I love when players buy into a program. Fred, we're being wrapped up here.
We're being wrapped up. We're out of time, so
We're going to holler at you
maybe
tomorrow.
tomorrow I'll tell you what's on
You
my
and
mind.
I, only 3 more shows to go together.
That's it.
Tears.
Unbelievable.
Deuces.
Tears, deuces. Okay.